Am I here? All right, now we can start. Agnieszka, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What a great topic to talk about cars at the end of such a great day and in such a great place in my beautiful home city, Poznań. I'm very happy to be here.
Well, I should be saying dziękuję bardzo for having me in your hometown. And this place has grown close to me. But it's not so a surprise that this place is booming and we see the Chinese cars everywhere. So let's just get down to it.
Yeah.
What can we expect? What's happening?
Well,
and what does this mean for Poland?
Yeah, so taking the perspective of Europe as a region, I think we are very, very attractive place for new entrants to introduce new cars. And this is what is happening with Chinese manufacturers. They grabbed the opportunity, 740 million inhabitants, more than 450 million drivers on European roads. Why not tackle that potential?
Yeah, that seems like a sizable market, a little bit bigger than the US and a little bit less complicated, but is it really less complicated for our Chinese? What does it look like to bring, and why are we seeing such a crazy increase?
Well, I would say that for Chinese manufacturers, it is not that complicated. It all started with electric cars, where they said, okay, with the European legislation.
And when was that? Situate us for people that don't really understand the industry.
Yeah, so a few years ago, European Union has put in a legislation which says until 2035 you cannot register other cars than zero-emission cars, which has boosted tremendously the sector of electric vehicles in European Union. And it's not only driving the cars, but also the infrastructure, supporting programs for small, medium entrepreneurs, for consumers to buy electric vehicles. As a representative of Alex Group, where we are present in different countries in Europe, we see that the drive has started in south of Europe. Portugal has been a great starting point where Portuguese people just had great boost on driving electric vehicles. Why? Because the energy there, solar energy, is quite cheap because of the wind and the sun.
There's usually a why, right? Which is why this conversation belongs in the fintech, finance impact stage.
Yes.
So this why and the transparency of pricing. Can we make a connection that most wouldn't make it on the media, that this Chinese crazy increase we're seeing could lead to or be connected to the zero emission?
Yeah, so they said, okay, we have a history of producing electric vehicles in China. Why not bringing it to to Europe, to the European region? And they started going there. European Union wanted to make it difficult for them, so they introduced tariffs. Tariffs means extra taxation for electric vehicles. What did the Chinese manufacturers do? They shifted. What we can learn from them is being fast, agile, and flexible. They introduced within a very short period of time hybrid engines and plug-in engines, which means that their market share and the number of cars that are being put to Europe are increasing and increasing. They are still price-wise very, very attractive. They are not under tariffs, and they can spread all over. The hybrid technology is a technology that is very well known in Europe, so there are no bottlenecks in terms of
infrastructure, charging facilities,
I don't know
grids.
The car, I don't know the technology, I'm afraid of it. These boundaries do not exist. And moreover, the cars are very technologically up to date, and people like freshness, novelty, and we like modern, great-looking cars. And something that I really, really like about Chinese brands is that they are bringing the technology from our mobile devices to the car. Touch screens, head-up displays, moving screens, and BYD, very, very famous. So this is something what makes them extraordinary, and what I think we could in Europe learn from them is how to fast reshape the strategy, reshape the direction, and go for it. They can produce a car within 12 months, which basically is not possible in Europe. Of course, legislation in China is, I would say, way more flexible than in Europe. So I would suggest
a little bit differently structured, perhaps, not to get too political.
Exactly. So I would simply suggest we should also make sure, don't get me wrong, I'm not against the European legislation. I would even say that it should be boosted in a way that the ethical aspect of bringing cars here to European region is being kept on the level that European Union agrees to. But from my perspective, what we should and take as an opportunity from Chinese entrants is exactly the way how fast they learn, they adapt, and they improve and bring to market products that are very much welcomed by the consumers.
Yeah, and we spent here time like all afternoon talking about, consumers like all of us expect convenience, ease of use. The Chinese have taught us a couple things around super apps and integrated payments, and so has Poland. So being from here and having seen this change happen and beginning in Portugal, what can we learn? And what does it put Poland in a position to do? When you look at we've learned earlier in Bleak, like the number of mobile payments, like this in the transport industry is just a little huge, right?
Yes. So one of the topics is, first of all, there's, let's say, scale. They can scale really, really fast. They are building on the network of car traders in Poland really fast. So the ones who have established businesses around the decades in Poland, they are coming into that boat and they want to have in their offering Chinese brands. So that is one thing. Second is their warranty system. That is something that is for me amazing. MG, as one of the Chinese brands, is giving a 7-year warranty for a car.
And just so we understand also in the industry, what is industry standard today?
I would say 2 to 3 years. You can also expand on top of it to 5 max. So there are really, a lot of people tend to say, what can be a quality of a car that is produced within 12 months? Yeah. Or Chinese is not bringing quality.
Or like we all know, like it was made in China, right? Yes. Maybe we have this prejudice, just like we've had in so many industries. So we're now breaking it and saying, no, it could mean zero emission.
Yeah, it could mean
It could mean you're not screwed over the first, 3 days of use.
Yeah. It can mean simply that
and it means your local partner. Yeah. That's something that really strikes me.
Yes.
When we look at the dealerships and growth of other automotive industries or competitors, that has not been their strategy. Their strategy has been to own their space, much more like we've seen in Starbucks models.
Yes.
And what we're hearing right now is distributorship.
Distributorship, that is amazing, exactly. So one of the, let's say, counter strategy of Chinese brands is to go to small towns, 20, 30,000 inhabitants, to come closer to a potential user, be an alternative for a used car. So I see it as an opportunity to have a car park of cars in Poland that is younger, safer, more modern, and technology advanced, for a price that is achievable for everybody or almost everybody, and that technology and novelty is not a luxury anymore. It becomes a standard. And that is something that from the perspective of a buyer, and in general, I really like to see things moving forward from the buyer perspective in favor of them. It simply opens a bucket of safer driving with more modern cars for more people around also areas that are not connected transport-wise, mobility-wise, where they can really come and have the access to an offering that is very top-notch.
And when I think about that, like, what a better place to be, right? Like, Poznan, I'm always constantly reminder, like, when I come back, 1/5 of the population is students.
Yes.
Poland is one of the fastest growing, like, youth populations when we're talking about Europe. And you kind of mentioned this beautiful, perfect scenario. So if I give you a crystal ball right now and dropped and said to you, what does it look like?
I'm a dreamer.
Okay,
I'm a dreamer.
That's what we do here at Impact. That's why I keep coming back. They think I'm a little crazy.
I truly believe that with this agile and fast-moving development of cars, we can, in a relative short mid-term perspective, see automotive vehicles on the roads. I've been to the US in November. I've been to San Francisco. Yes, you know the companies of automotive vehicles that drive there. It's amazing to have such an experience. And I think it will be something that we will see in the future. That is my dream to become true. But for the foreseeable future, I truly believe that Chinese brands will reach at least 30,000 cars registered in Poland this year. They will have a double-digit growth, and it won't be a 1 in front. It would be rather a 2 in front up until 2030 for sure.
Okay. And I'm keeping her accountable.
Yes,
and you are to a home streaming. Yeah, we're going to bring her back on stage. I'll bring her back on main stage next year.
In 2030.
To say what were the double-digit numbers. Okay, double-digit numbers. What does this mean for the Polish economy?
Well, it simply means that we can move to 20% or 19% of our society lives in urban areas. The rest is, let's say, public transport-wise excluded. So having a car for my own use helps me to move to a different place, to a different city, to seek for a better job, to look for opportunities, to educate myself better. So that for me is a shift towards a better educated, wealthier society in Poland. That is something that I wish for us, because mobility, it's not about the fact that we don't want to move, that we don't want to commute, that we don't want to experience, but sometimes we are limited. And that is something for me that should be a key vision for us, and that is also what we do in Otomoto. We simply bring every available car to any user that has internet access to search online for the best choice, because we want to improve the mobility access for every single Pole in this country. That's my mission.
You have a tough, tall mission ahead.
Yes.
What are the things that in this crystal ball seem like we're going to have to get out of our old ways to create impact? Is it legislation?
Yes, of course. Legislation cannot limit us. It should boost innovation, also experimentation. It is something that we are very much not used to do. And in order to move faster, to have exponential growth in any strategy, you need to experiment, iterate. And I believe this is something what Chinese brands are doing. There are a lot of Chinese brands in the European region, a lot of them entering Poland. Maybe 20% of them will survive. But still, bringing that or building that awareness that it's possible to bring technology in front of your yard is something that is also waking up the European manufacturers to maybe reconsider their strategy and have their product more accessible price-wise for every single person who would like to use it.
I think that's what I hope to see. Like, one of the things that I want to do next year is to bring a regulator. So maybe we bring you and put a regulator on the hot seat to talk about this digital growth last year. I like closing as a human. In the end of the day, Agnieszka is a powerful, like a powerhouse with titles and lots of things that she does other than change the transport industry. But what piece of advice do you leave with people? What has, like, in your life acted? When you look at your crystal ball, you know, you're going to double-digit growth.
Yes.
I have really good memory, so be careful.
Yeah.
Double-digit growth. We're going to double-digit growth. We're going to get to 0% emission, 30,000 cars. We're going to have youth and mobility increase. So what advice are we going to leave people to act on when they go home? What advice do you leave maybe not only to the young talent, but to every human listening?
Have courage. Take choices that are not an easy path. Break the silo, go against the rules. This is how innovation starts, and this is how a change starts. And the most of all that I would say, choose the cars of your dreams. That is something that gives joy, that is something that gives energy, that is something that makes you feel great. And this moment and the feeling when you step into a car, you push the gas pedal to the metal where you can, according to the speed limit. This is the moment where you feel really free. And that is something I wish to everybody. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Agnieszka. Let's give her a warm welcome of applause for that. I wish for you to find us, maybe not just car wings, but just wings. We all have them. We certainly and seldomly find them ourselves. So this just presence you've given me and presence you guys have given me is my ask and my return gift to all of you. So thank you so much for being an impact.
Thank you, Bianca.
Agnieszka, thank you.
Thank you.